Hi there, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to this reclaiming space. We want this session every November. We have this open session to hear your feedback. And oh, it's great. Now I can see you all. Great to see you. Thanks. Hey there, Chief Bunnell, one of our most faithful attendees, and Dr. Vorpal and Heather and Amanda, Dr. Haynes from Canada. Thank you all for joining. This is going to be a fun session. We're making this one special fun. We're showing more videos than we normally show. We selected some of our favorites, including the first one, which is one of my all-time favorites of Christian Parrish, whose stage name is Superman. And that's just such a brilliant example. We wanted to start with that. So we started this reclaiming story um, formally. We formally launched the reclaiming series in January of 2022. So if we can go to the next slide. So we started in January 2022, and thank you, Lee. And we started with a partnership between United South and Eastern Tribes, which Bernice represents, and a fabulous organization called C4 Innovations that's based in the Boston area. We've added a new partner this summer, which is the Seven Generations American Indian Alaska Native Behavioral Health Center of Excellence that's based at the University of Arizona. So in January, our first session of 2026 will start year 5 of the Reclaiming series. And we owe our success to you all for helping us build the momentum, which was pretty much from day one. People are hungry to hear about Native brilliance and the reaffirmation every month of how brilliant Native people are, and especially Native young people. So in January, we'll start year 5. Same process. Will continue to be 1 hour a month. It will always be the fourth Tuesday of each month, and it's always the same times. Pacific, 11 o'clock Pacific, and noon Mountain, 1 o'clock Central, and 2 o'clock Eastern. Each session is always strength-based and Native behavioral health focus. And of course, we begin and end each session with a Native video of Native song, Native dance, Native spoken word. So we know you all enjoy the format that we developed. We do too. We really have a lot of joy in putting together each session. So the next slide. Just a reminder why this space was created. Why did we do this? There's a long story to it, and my personal interest and personal story, but in general, we developed this to honor Native people and to honor the brilliance of our past, our present, and our future. Um, and we created it for you. You all who have signed in today and in previous months, you're working to help your community, to help your Native community that you're a part of or where you live. And we know that that work can be full of joy, but also full of challenges. So we wanted to create a safe place for you, a place where you can check out, turn your cell phone off, perhaps, and just enjoy this hour as a safe, nurturing place. We also focus on clinical and intellectual. We wanted to create a clinical and intellectual sanctuary for you. Um, we wanted to help you reimagine how to give support to Native people with the continuous assumption of brilliance. I always say when there's when a Native person comes into a tribal health clinic for whatever support, that they need, and especially if they're walking into a substance use treatment or needing emotional support from the behavioral health department. I believe that if that initial connection with that Native person, if the what used to be called, the old word is intake, right? That you would collect some information about what brings them to the clinic today. Those old ways of approaching that information gathering was normally, and the way it's taught in schools, it's a deficit-based approach. It's a problem identification process. I believe that if you start that initial conversation, assuming that the native person sitting across from you is brilliant, they may not talk and converse the way that you're familiar with. They may not look directly at you in the way that you think maybe they should. But their way of communication may sometimes hide how brilliant they are. But I think if any service provider first assumes that the native person sitting across from them is brilliant, their whole plan of treatment from that point forward would be very different from a problem deficit-based approach. So what we try to show you every month for these past 4 years is the power of brilliance and to assume brilliance in our young people, in our elders, in our and everyone in between. That I personally believe that we are genetically dis predisposed, that we are brilliant people. We always say this, you guys probably tired of me saying that, we were scientists before there was a field of science. We were psychologists before there was a field of psychology. We were astronomers before there was a field of astronomy. We're brilliant people, and that's one of the reasons we created this space. But primarily, we created it for you, to give you a sanctuary, to give you a safe place to check out every month for just 1 hour. So the next slide. So we showed you a million different kinds of brilliance. We're going to share more with you in this hour. Um, but I want to show you a series of photos that we've used in the past that are examples of native brilliance. This turkey feather mantle blows my mind. I love this picture so much. And this wonderful woman from Gay Head, Wampanoag on the East Coast, has this fantastic turkey feather mantle, and it's so incredibly beautiful and so brilliant in how it's designed and so ancient in its use of turkey feathers. Another example, and I also love the hair wrap. So another example of native brilliance. And then the next slide, please. Another example of native brilliance. This happens to be Miss Indian World a couple of years ago. Who gets a new Miss Indian World gets crowned. You all probably know this at the Gathering of Nations event every April in Albuquerque. But she's there with these really beautiful Yurok children, and the brilliance of the basket making that the Yurok people have and many other tribes. The baskets that they wear on their heads are incredibly beautiful. And the thing I've always appreciated about Yurok people and other tribes, very different from Plains Indians, of which I am a member of the Pawnee Nation, they only use natural colors. I love that. And they also dance barefoot, and I love that as well. But the brilliance of just using natural materials and natural colors to develop their traditional dress is another example of brilliance, right? So the next slide. So we talked about this last year This is the Osage Nation people who all got on a plane and went to Hollywood for the Academy Awards because it was the first time a native song in native language was nominated for Best Song at the Academy Awards. So you remember they all went um, and they got a lot of attention as they should. And for the brilliant song and and I think the next slide we're going to remind us of the song.
Osage. The land had oil on it.
When this money started coming, we should have known it came with something else.
And most fellas out here are crooked. Some do things right, most do bad.
I haven't done nothing wrong in this world.
Have you told all the truths?
Another example of brilliance. Wasahe is the Osage name, Osage native language name for Osage people. And a lot of the movie was filmed in Pawhuska, Oklahoma, which is the capital of Osage country. And I actually spent a lot of time in Pawhuska. I've been there several times this year, and it's uh, it's really wonderful to be around the Osage people. And the way they dance is similar to my tribe, and the men with their otter hides down their back and the porcupine quills for their on their head and the eagle feathers and just really fabulous. So an example of brilliance. And here's another one. We had the privilege of having two representatives from Native Dads Network provide information to through this series. I might have been in 2022 and or 2023, and they do a lot of incredible work. But one of the many offerings that they have is a series called Boys with Braids. And this is a picture of Boys with Braids, and their curriculum for that is to support young Native boys and young men who grow their hair long and who may run into harassment and derogatory comments in public school settings. So they developed this series called Boys with Braids, and I think it's just brilliant. And they believe the founders of Native Dads Network believe that there's not enough men in our field and in supportive roles. And so they created this whole organization called Native Dads Network, which also has the coolest acronym in town, NDN. Get it? So you can look up Native Dads Network as another example, male-focused support. So the next slide that we want to share with you, Gathering of Nations. Um, April 2026, they say, is going to be the last Gathering of Nations in its form that it's always been in. I don't know if someone will take it over, but April 2026 will be the last one. And thank you, Willow, for saying that. Her family runs the horse parade. One of my favorite things about Gathering of Nations, which I've been to many times, is the horse parade. So, and this is one of this, I think this was one of the winners from last year. Willow, who's in our audience, would know, I imagine. But it was just such a fabulous, the horses are dressed in regalia as their rider, and they're men on a single man on a single horse. There's uh, young children on horses, sometimes two horses, a pony and an adult horse. The horses are all in regalia. So notice the face mask on this horse. It's really fabulous. It's common in a lot of plains tribes that they'll have full beaded face masks for horses for special occasions, including they beat up the ears. They have little ears. I think that one has little ears on it too. Um, and the headdress this man has and his horse, the way his horse is painted is just really fabulous. So if you get a chance to go to a Gathering of Nations, April of 2026 will be I think they say the last time, and there are thousands and thousands and thousands of Native people who are there. And the horse parade. So another example of brilliance in Native people's natural affinity, I think, for four-legged animals. They respect four-leggeds as much as two-legged people. Okay, another slide. Even a simple fan is another example of the artistry and brilliance of Native people. And, there's all different kinds of fans of all different kinds of feathers. In Oklahoma, which is where I'm from, the state bird is the scissor-tail flycatcher. And it's a little bird, but it's got really long tails. It's only got two tail feathers, really long tail feathers. And those tail feathers um, often become a peyote fan. So, but this is just an example of a fan. There are millions of, well, I don't know if there's millions, probably maybe millions, I don't know, thousands for sure of Native fans. And if you ever have the privilege of being at a Native dance, pay attention to all of the different items on their dress and their fan and see you can see what kind of feathers they have used, how they decorate the fans. Everything's totally different and then totally brilliant. So next slide. Also one of my favorite photos. Good idea for you all. The New York Indian Council, New York City, took an old photo of Lenape people who were there before New York City was there. And when we're in New York City, we always remind people that the concrete they're walking on is Indian land, and it was Lenape people's land. So they took that old picture, which any of us could do, uh, perhaps with permission from your tribe or whatever tribal picture you use, and you can superimpose it on top of modern day, as the New York Indian Council did in this picture. And it was really a very poignant comment that I could make in presentations in cities and in New York City in particular to remind people and to remind decision makers, non-native decision makers and foundation leaders and people in power that are not native, that they're walking on Indian land, even in New York City. So a wonderful reminder and an idea for any of us who's listening to this, that it's something that we could do for any place we live. So just an idea. And another example of brilliance, always with us, always needed. So the next slide. So this is just a reminder, Thanksgiving is this week, and I hope you all have a wonderful holiday with your family and whatever traditions you have. The gathering of our family is, really meaningful. The origin of U.S. Thanksgiving is maybe not as meaningful, but this is a reminder. This picture is in Plymouth, Massachusetts. And Plymouth, Massachusetts, the native people in the area have a protest parade every Thanksgiving down that main street of Plymouth. And down below at the water is this kind of a big Greek, um, I don't know what you call it, structure with pillars that covers up Plymouth Rock. So I went down there about, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago and looked at that rock, and that rock's a little bitty rock. And they have this gigantic Greek pillars over it. But of course, our perspective as Native people of Thanksgiving is different. So we want to show you an example. And I want to make a point after we show you this short video of how we can address feelings in our community and the people we serve. So I think the next slide is a video we're going to show you, short.
Happy Thanksgiving, America. I'm Donna, and I'm here with my friends to tell you the real history behind this holiday. Growing up, I knew that what they told you in school about Thanksgiving wasn't true. That's not the true story. The true story behind Thanksgiving was, after every killing of a whole village, these European settlers celebrated it, and they called it Thanksgiving. But it wasn't until Abraham Lincoln became president that it became an official holiday.
He ordered 38 Dakota men to be hung for war crimes.
After the sacred holiday Christmas.
We take this time to remember our elders who lost their lives due to what really happened. Usually my mom makes a Native American dish for us and we pray.
Growing up, I would be kind of annoyed that they didn't know what actually happened on Thanksgiving and that they're actually celebrating the deaths of many people and many tribes that were lost.
Whether it's to give thanks or to be with your family, you should learn how the holiday was established in the first place.
I'm thankful for being born indigenous to this continent.
I'm thankful that I still have my culture.
I'm thankful that my elders kept our culture alive all these years.
I'm thankful to be indigenous, resilient, and alive.
I'm thankful for us all to be able to stand together, stand strong, and stand as one.
Happy Thanksgiving, America.
So that video may have been cathartic for those young Native girls, but it reminds me from a behavioral health perspective of often what you all work with and try to help with is unresolved grief, unresolved trauma, and rage, pent-up rage that some of our young people have, and not just young people, but in particular, pent-up rage and unresolved grief is a really tough combination as an adolescent is struggling through their biological process to become an adult. And we often see in behavioral health rage and rageful behavior that sometimes is so pent up that it can come out in self-medicating through different substance uses or violence. And it's something that we in behavioral health and all of you all have seen, I'm sure, and it's our job is to help tamper that down and help resolve the pain and often quiet pain that young Native people may be in so that they have healthier outlets and hear some validation of their any rageful feelings that they may have. Um, so it's part of the complicated work and the honor that we have as behavioral health people to work, especially with young people. So we wanted to share that perspective of Thanksgiving with you from these lovely, wonderful young girls. So let me just go on because we want to get to an opportunity for you all to share your thoughts with us. So, and thank you for putting things in the chat. I'm seeing them as I'm talking. And welcome, David. David Two Arrows and the Vanderhoop family, who were one of our presenters last year, I believe. So if you could go back to that one slide, for some reason I can't see it. But the 2025 series. So in 2025, we had our favorite wonderful tribal psychologist, Dr. Jeff King, um, always does a fantastic presentation for us. And he was one of the presenters. Ken Craybill from C4 Innovations and Jackie Vorpal down on the bottom right were did a two-part series on trauma-informed, let me correct that, native trauma-informed clinical supervision. And that was a fabulous two-part series. Makana, my wonderful new young Native Hawaiian friend in Honolulu, did a presentation on hula and talked about the spiritual uh, foundation of the art of hula and the difference between traditional hula, the original hula that was only performed by men, and the more modern hula that people think of now. And she's just really dynamic, younger generation person that will always be part of the Reclaiming family. And there is David Two Arrows Vanderhoop and his daughter, who did fabulous presentation for us and talked about their life and their work on their island off of Cape Cod. And I saw your comments on the Plymouth piece of this, David, so thank you for all that. And then Evan White, a new person to me. I just met him in 2025, I believe. And Evan White, Dr. Evan White, is another tribal psychologist, but he focuses specifically on neuroscience, um, brain science, and the relationship between brain science and substance use. And so he really did a great presentation. He's also from a tribe in Oklahoma, and he lives and works in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and is just a really brilliant person. And of course, who's that on the bottom left? You all know me, and I do several presentations. I'm not sure exactly what I did in 2025, but I'm really so glad to be part of this and to share my experiences with you all. The next piece that Lee was showing is we have a list of and the links of all of the recordings, 2025 recordings of the actual presentation and the videos that we used. So Lee, thank you so much for putting this together. We're gonna, you have access to this, and maybe Lee, you can explain how they access this information.
Yeah, sure. I'll hop on real quick. I put this together because I love this project so much, and sharing all of this information that we've accrued through the years is so important. So I'm going to be putting it in the chat if you'd like to download it. It's a Word document that will be there for you to really examine as much as you want to. It's got all of our featured videos and our presentations linked in there since 2022. So those will all be in there. I'm putting it in the chat as we speak. And then it will also we'll be placing everything in our location that we have on Hightail, which I will link at the end of today's session. It is a space where we upload all of the documents that we have created and all of the presentations. So those are all available there. I'm going to put everything in the chat. So just keep an eye out and download right from there. So thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Lee. And So that's a great resource for you all. If there's certain videos or certain presentations you want to see, that's how Lee has created that. So you can just click on things, download it, click on it, and you'll have access to that. So one more slide, and then I'm going to be quiet and turn it over to Olivia and you all. Um, let's see, can you back up one? There was one slide, and maybe we might have covered it up, but let me just say it. We have thousands of people who participate over the years in the reclaiming series every month, and we um, we keep track of the number of people and all of that. So thousands, thousands. But the one thing that was surprising is we have a surprisingly high number of post views. That means that after the session's over, whether it's later in the day or later in the week or months later, people will go back and watch the presentation, a prior presentation. We have thousands of people that do that. So they use those presentations either as staff training or they use them for their own professional development to watch something again. Maybe they use them in community settings, like kind of a quasi movie night for tribal communities. But we do have a very surprising number of post views in addition to the people that you see on the screen. People will go back and watch them, or they hear about it and they access all of the presentations like Lee's developed here and they watch it. So it's a very important and successful series, and we thank you all again for participating. So I'm going to turn it over to Olivia, and I will be quiet for a while.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that recap. It just made me also think just of how many topics have been covered and just how much brilliance in the artwork and the culture and the practices. My goodness. Thank you so much. What we want to do right now is we want to hear from you a little bit. And so what we would like to do is we're going to put up a poll and we're going to ask you, it'll be anonymous, to kind of look at the topics. And we are going to ask you, are there ones of the ones that we have already covered that you would like to repeat and take a deeper dive into? As you know, for some of the topics, we were able to dive fairly deep in. Others had a different level. Some of them had 2 sessions. Some of them had 1. And so we're going to put the poll up, and you will be able to see the results as they come in. But as you're voting, they will be anonymous.
Yeah, so please use the link in the chat. It's going to give you that, but also please put your thoughts in the chat and I will grab those out and verbalize them and we'll share everything we get.
Lee, is the link in the chat for the Mentimeter? That's what that is?
Correct. Yes, that is the place to go to. But also, if you can't access that, no worries. Feel free to put it in the chat and we'll make sure to share it as well. And we're gathering all of this as we go.
So you'll see things change on the screen as people are choosing different topics. That's what you're seeing there, but do go to the link.
And you can add as many as you'd like. There's no limit. So if you have more ideas than one, please put them on there. Also, topics that have more than one person adding them will be bigger. So obviously we'll see that traditional healing is getting a lot of comments.
Yeah, we're also seeing some new ones we haven't touched on before, which is nice to see. We have, let's see, youth researchers, incorporating Native values. My goodness, it's all wonderful. Post-traumatic healing, art therapy, traditional healing are the 3 top ones currently.
So important to see maternal mortality on there too.
Yeah,
Crisis
crisis
response.
response. Yep.
Sorry, Livia, I'm copying you.
It's okay. We will give it just another 15 seconds just to give you a chance because we have one more poll after this. Two-eyed seeing. Wonderful. And you can also put in the chat if you want any ideas that you're thinking of as we go to the next poll. But this will help us to think about, what do we plan for next year, right? And of course, we have some ideas already, but we really want to hear from you. So this is just so important. Traditional healing can, of course, cover a lot of subtopics, if you will, but it's so nice to see it front and center, traditional medicine. And I think we can probably go to the next slide, Lee. So you just took a poll on topics we'd already covered that you'd like a deeper dive into. What we'd love for you to do now is to identify some topics that you'd like to have information about that would be new to our series. So are there any that would be helpful to you and your community that we haven't covered? And Lee, are they going to the same
Same link. There is a
link?
second page on it. So you just look for the question to help respond to your community needs. What new topics would you like information about? So there'll be just a second one. And people are already getting in there. So thank you for going ahead and participating using that. We appreciate it.
And all of your suggestions help us in our planning for the 2026 series.
And
So
Livia, I'm
good.
seeing tracking TX outcomes can, for some of us who might be outside of the loop, what does
Treatment.
TX stand for?
Treatment.
Okay. Thank you, Livia.
You're welcome.
Really just a question for me, and I got it answered. So
Veterans care, traditional cradle boards, intertribal harmony, celebrations of brilliance.
See, parenting curricula, that could be in addition to what we've had, sacred parent strategies. We had a great presentation from Jackie Vorpal on that one that you can check out, but would love to put even more towards that.
We see that lateral violence has been, certainly focused on more indirectly, maybe not as just one main topic. Holly and Bernice, just trying to remember some of the ones, but we've had 4 years of doing these topics, so this is really good to get more and new topics. Indigenous assessments. All right.
It's wonderful.
It really is. And I know we don't have that much time left, so I'm going to encourage you to wrap, kind of your ideas up, but you can also put them in the chat. We absolutely will capture them. We will consider them. We are in the planning phase for 2026, so I can't tell you just how helpful this is to us.
Incredibly helpful and wonderful and brilliant.
Yeah.
See all your brilliance. Everyone who's typing in something your brilliance is being transmitted.
Yeah, the reconnecting to tribe, etc. I am wondering if it's reconnecting to tribe only. I'm not sure quite how we could capture the etc., but we will go with the reconnecting to tribe. I see there. The creator's game. Wow. Yeah, just such creativity and brilliance. Thank you. I'm going to turn it back over to you, Holly.
All right, thank you. Well, that was wonderful. That got a little surge of adrenaline in me just reading all of those wonderful comments. Thank you so much. So we have 2 more videos to share with you, and then we end at the top of the hour. And then, of course, Livia will do the audience reflections as she always does. But we thought we would show you a new video. The very first one that we opened with is Christian Parrish, aka Superman, in the what he's known most for. He's quite famous. He's quite well known among young Native people. But he also has this new video, um, and it's really great. So it's a different style.
The way she wore that ribbon skirt was tougher than leather, like two red dogs stuck together. She was at Black Hills Power, trying to snag an Uncle Beat It earrings and some wicked eyelashes. That girl can hustle, but her fried bread was too crispy for me. No, no, too crispy for me. Use some bluebird flour and try again.
If I could sing rhythm and blues, this is what it would sound like. Okay, I think we're going to turn it over to Livia again for her monthly piece that she does on audience reflections.
Thank you. So in addition to the voting that you did and the great ideas you have, we welcome you and invite you to share any reflections on the series overall, or even how you felt the format of today worked. Was it helpful? Was it productive in order for you to be able to lean in and provide some ideas? How did it work? We very much try to make it a celebration as well of all the series and topics, not just from this year, but from past years. And maybe you have ideas on how we could add to it. Yeah. I see David saying, I wish we had all afternoon. Yes. Such healing space.
I see a lot of our old friends and new friends who joined us today.
I see this community brings me so much healing every time. Thank you all for being. What a beautiful sentiment. I see Dr. Haynes, these sessions enrich learning with such integrity and congruence. Thank you. We see some gratitude for your handout, Lee. So I think that will be appreciated. All right. Well, if we don't have any ideas, that's fine too. We can go back to some music and just sharing. Oh, we do have David. You can get off mute for a minute. I'll make sure Lee can do that and you can share. Thank you.
All right. Well, first of all, I so appreciate your efforts, Holly, Livia, and Jackie, for bringing us all together and making this whole production real. Um, there are so many families and youth that are in need of information that they don't have time for in this modern society that we've been dragged into. So I just wanted to say that no matter what your efforts are in your gatherings, and sometimes it's maybe just a few or not even just a few, it just so makes a difference for us to be able to express and to gather ourselves together so that there's a foundation. That foundation has just been lost in this freaking culture that we're in right now. And that I have found what I've, been seeing in my community, it's a very small community here on Nompi, now known as Martha's Vineyard, how number one, our youth have taken that responsibility for being themselves in this, in our native community. That it just brings me to tears every time I hear these stories. No matter whether it's in sports or being able to stand up in class, where there might be one or two other native people in there. It just makes such a difference. And your series um, is I've been able to share it with just a few people. Um, they have all said that we need absolutely more of this, and however we get it out there is necessary, especially in these days of chaos in this friggin' administration. So I'll stop here and let somebody else take it from there. But I just want to say I, love, love, love what you are doing and how you've brought us together. And, katabatang tamawas to you as well as everyone on the call.
Thank you, David. That was very profound and circles it back home again for us. So thank you so much. Anybody else have any comments they want to make?
Yes, we have Dr. Haynes. Do you want to come off mute?
Opportunity to speak. I'm in Canada. This sounds really unusual, Holly, but I don't know. I think you guys could handle the topic. Our children are brilliant. And when I'm with them, they want to learn more about the workplace. Even in like grade 4, they just want to learn about the workplace. So I brought the unions in, the work unions in, and we learned about safety. We even practiced putting yellow signs out when the teachers spill the coffee, and slippery floors. And they're fascinated about the workplace, and they're brilliant. And so as we're trying to bring meaning, and we're Native, well, as Native people, we want safety in the workplace. That goes back to my canoe, it's that old. But I'm not finding a lot of resources or dialogue, even, coming and going from work to home, but we're all hardworking people. And our youth, when I talk about the workplace, their ears are awake. Like it matters to them more than their social studies or geography or history, it's more meaningful. So I just share that with you. I'm way up here in Canada with my canoe land, but it's just one of those areas, Holly. I'm not sure if psychology is in the workplace. We talk about bullying. We talk about mental health. We talk about wellness in the workplace. But our youth are so brilliant. And the number one topic for me with our youth is safety in the workplace.
Well, thank you for saying that, Dr. Haynes. Those are areas that I think we miss a lot. We miss financial readiness, financial information for young people, and we miss work readiness. Now, Greg Donovan is on the call, I saw. I don't know if he's still on, but they did a really brilliant approach in Nebraska. They took I think I might have mentioned this to you all before. They took a regular summer camp for Native kids and turned it into I would say like a workforce readiness type of behavioral health camp. So what they did is they brought in behavioral health. They had a regular summer camp. The kids did the regular things that anyone would do in a summer camp, but they interspersed it with behavioral health speakers. So they would have people come and talk to the kids about what is behavioral health, how they started and what their interest was, what they had to do to get in the workplace and all of that. And I thought that was a really brilliant way to turn summer camp, which is really important to kids. I remember when we used to, for us, it was Bible camp, um, looking for kids, and we'd jump in the back of a pickup truck and say, we'll go, just to get out of our little town and do something different in the summer. But there's opportunities that you can take, and to follow up on your suggestion, Dr. Haynes, to take like the folks, Greg Donovan and the folks in Nebraska did, to take regular venues that kids are attracted to, like a summer camp, and turn them into um, intersperse them with work development opportunities. So there's ways to do that. And I really thought, Greg, I don't know if you're still on, I thought you guys did. I've always remembered that. And I thought that was brilliant what you all did in Nebraska. So thank you for bringing
Just
that
put
up.
a link in the chat, Holly, for folks who are interested in more about Greg's work. Just found it. So feel free to follow that link and to learn more.
Thank you. Wonderful. Well, I think with that, we have, we can go to the next slide. So all of the information you all provided are fed into our hopper of ideas and thinking about 2026. So 2026, January 27th, we'll start our 5th year. We'll have monthly speakers, more videos, same format. So, and we'll also have continuing education credit. Were able to, through USET, they were able to contract with the new continuing education venue. So we thank USET for their financial support of that. So we'll have all the continuing education credit that you were used to before. That'll start back again in January. And so stay tuned. We'll keep you posted. We'll send you information about it. So we want to close with one more of our favorite videos. And this is, you might remember this. This is really powerful. This is a spoken word video by the co-founder of the We Matter campaign that is based in Canada. Dr. Haynes, you might know it. I matter, you matter, we matter. That's their spirit and their logo. And it's a young people developed organization without anything but their brilliance and cell phones. And they started this Canadian-wide campaign. And Tanshe Redverts is a brother sister founded it, and she is a co-founder, and she has this fabulous spoken word poem that she's going to read. It's one of my favorites. It's very moving and very powerful, and it reminds us of why we are all here doing the work that we do. So we'll turn it over to Tanshe.
Darling, you were crafted from the finest things that this earth has to offer. The tan of your skin has surfaced from the purest grains of soil that hold your feet. Your hair falls down your back as if water was tumbling down rock, but then settles. Darling, your fingers are flowers that are softer than any pain that tries to take hold of you. Your hands are power, and your limbs are rooted to your soul. They aren't meant to fall by your sides. They're meant to reach higher than any tree in sight. Darling, stand proud. Your head might be home to demons, but your heart is home to so much more. Find your heart. And just like the beat of a drum, let it make sound, because our ancestors didn't make drums to be silent. I know how hard it can be to feel like you are walking in darkness. But darling, there is only so much darkness until there is sun. And even when there is no sun, there is moon. So let that remind you that you are never walking alone in darkness. Our ancestors see you. And just like the air that we breathe, even when coldness hurts our lungs, we need you. Because you are life. Darling, you matter.
one of my most favorite